What's up, all my boxing bros and broettes, and just bros and broettes in general? It's the Bro Hammer here. So I just wanted to give my final thoughts on this whole Mayweather-McGregor press tour that just wrapped up yesterday in London. So now Mayweather's a homophobe. Conor McGregor is a racist. Mayweather is a woman beater. And they're both flamboyant, cocky, arrogant athletes. So now all of y'all are triggered. Everybody is triggered now. They just guaranteed that this is going to be the biggest fight of all time, money-wise, not competition-wise. I've been saying from the jump, and a lot of people have been saying from the jump. That's smart to the game and what they're watching. But they got y'all. They got you. And I was going to watch the fight regardless. I'm just going to put it out there. It's not like I'm not going to watch it. I'm not one of those people that's going to be like, boycott this because it's a fixed fight and it's not real and it's not competitive. Man, it's entertainment. And I don't mind paying a few bucks for some good entertainment. Hey, I watch professional wrestling. Some people say, oh, that's fake and fixed. So is The Walking Dead. So is all of those Marvel movies that come out every summer. It's all fake, but it's entertainment, man. You know? So it's all good. But a couple of things I wanted to say, wrap this up. The movie The Great White Hype, if you haven't seen it, check it out so you can see and realize what you're witnessing with this event. It's not even a fight. I'm gonna call it a match because it's pro wrestling to me at this point. It's a match. And speaking of pro wrestling, look it up. The term worked shoot promos. This is what Floyd and Conor have been doing at all of these press tours. So let's talk about the work shoot promos first. Okay, what's a work shoot promo? I'm glad you asked. So, a work in wrestling means it's fake. It's a work. Like, oh, he got hit with the steel chair. Now he's wearing the proverbial crimson mask, as Jim Ross would say. You know, most of the time this happens when a guy blades after he's been hit with a chair. You can't see it. He blades, you know, in his forehead. Now he's bleeding. That's a work. You know, that's a gimmick or whatever, you know, wrestling term they want to use. It's work. It's the chair really didn't bust him open. You know, the matches are work. You know, any other gimmick, like the Undertaker is really from hell. You know, that's part of his gimmick. It's a work. Now a shoot means it's real. When he's cutting a promo, when a guy's cutting a promo, he says something that is true. You know, that's real. Or he actually goes in the ring and he really knocks a guy out on purpose. That's a shoot. That means it's real. So when we combine the two, work, shoot, basically, I'm going to say something real about you that's really going on to make it look like it's real, but it's still a work. It's not. So when you have McGregor saying, you can't pay your taxes, you know, you can't read, that's a work shoot promo. When you have Floyd talking about, you know, you missed a tap out, you a quitter, you know, you Dana White's, you know, hoe, that's a work shoot promo. They're coming with facts and they're hitting each other hard, but don't think they're taking any of this personal. They're doing this to fatten up their pockets. And I'm not saying that they were backstage and they had sat down with Vince McMahon and he was like, you know, Conor, I want you to talk about how he can't read, yeah. And Floyd, you do your black guy stuff, you know, you're young, fly, and flashy, yeah. No, that's not what happened. But they may have said, okay, we're gonna go all out, no holds barred. Let's, you know, let's get this money. That's it. And that's what they done. And the coup de grace was yesterday when Floyd called McGregor a derogatory word for a homosexual man or gay man. You know, I'm not gonna say it. I like to try to keep it clean as possible on my channel, so I'm not gonna say that word if that's hurtful to people. Keep it real. So he said that to McGregor, and it's like, ding, they checked off the list. We got everybody now. We got the black folks because now Conor is racist. We got, you know, white folks, Caucasian folks, because they don't like Floyd to begin with. You know, a lot of people don't like Floyd to begin with for the same reasons they like Conor. But let's, you know, that's not besides the fact. That's interesting. We're gonna talk about that. But, well, you know, and people will say that it's because he's a woman beater. Look, man, I don't condone violence towards anybody, and especially women. I do not condone violence towards women. But let's not pretend like a lot of people weren't saying they didn't like Mayweather because he's cocky, he's arrogant, he's brash, and all he does is talk about money before the domestic violence trouble or allegations came to light. Now, don't act like y'all didn't know about them early in his career, like some of us did that actually follow boxing or follow Mayweather's career before he fought De La Hoya, when a lot of y'all casuals became familiar with him. Y'all didn't find out to know domestic violence until, what was that, 2012? When that happened, before he fought Cotto? So y'all was saying that y'all hated him, and then he was a coward and he was a punk and, you know, gay weather and all of that stuff. Whatever, man. I don't get too caught up in no athlete or any other man. You know, that's too emotional for me. But especially over some man that I don't know. It's weird. Call it what it is. But, you know, and now you have you may have some of the gay community that want to see Floyd get his head bashed in because of what he said. He called Conor the F word. F-A-G. G-O-T. They got everybody now. And, you know, I said before this fight was going to sell 5 million pay-per-views. Easy. Now, my homeboy, John, what's up, John? The Facebook Boxing Bros, he said, man, after that, they probably going to do 6 or 7 million. I said, dang, bro, you right. You right. Because everybody's triggered now. And it's just interesting to me. This is almost like a social experiment. It's very interesting because it's like people will say wrestling is fake, but then they see this, which looks exactly like wrestling. Walks like a duck, talks like a duck. Must be a duck, right? No, not in this case. You have grown men whose emotion is overriding their logic in this case. And honestly, it's about race. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm not saying that, I'm not calling anybody racist. I'm not saying that. Do I think Conor McGregor's a racist? Let's get that out of the way. I don't know the man. I don't know. I can't say. Because I do know that when you cut in the promo, you're going to say, especially if you're healing it up, you're being a bad guy in wrestling, you're the villain. And Conor he made the heel turn in Brooklyn. All my wrestling bros know what I'm talking about. He made a heel turn, you know, so you're going to say stuff to get under people's skin. You may not really believe it, but you're going to push those buttons to trigger people. Don't think the Dancing Monkeys comment wasn't to trigger y'all. Don't think the Dance Boy Dance wasn't to trigger y'all. Don't think any of the stuff that Floyd does that he knows you can't stand isn't to trigger you and get you to buy into this fight. It's all part of the show. And it's just crazy. Maybe it's because wrestling hasn't been good like it was in the late 90s. Because back in the late 90s, in what's called the Attitude Era now, when you had Stone Cold, Steve Austin, The Rock, Mankind, Undertaker, you know, at the top of their game, D-Generation X, NWO, it was like this every Monday. What you saw these past 4 days, it was like this every Monday. This is what good wrestling psychology promo cutting looks like. This is what Ric Flair is a master at. Okay? So I guess it's just, you know, people aren't too familiar with that aspect of sports entertainment or selling a fight. So yeah. So What's interesting is that the movie The Great White Hype, starring Samuel L. Jackson, Damon Wayans, Sally Richardson, John Lovitz, Cheech Marin, you know, I'm trying to think who else. Oh, Jeff Goldblum was in it. Jamie Foxx was also in there too. The Great White Hype came out in 1996, same year Floyd turned pro. It is following the outline. This fight is following the outline of that movie to a T. This is nothing new in the world of boxing. This is nothing new, guys. Some of y'all may have never seen it because you don't follow boxing like that, but this is nothing new. This was done, which is really what the movie is based on. Larry Holmes versus Jerry Cooney. Larry Holmes is one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time, but he came after Ali. So he was kind of in that period between Ali and Tyson. One of the greatest jabs ever. Great heavyweight champion. Bad man. Big, tall, strong. You know. For them to make a huge event, they manufactured, well, Jerry Cooney was a good fighter in his own right, but they basically manufactured a fight with Jerry Cooney. Irish Jerry Cooney. They got white America behind Jerry Cooney. They pushed the racial envelope, and they used that underlying racial tension, or, you know, feelings or tribalism that everybody has. Everybody wants to see somebody that looks like them do good. That's just human nature, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But they use that to promote a fight and make money off of people. Now, the people that made the fight, they knew good and dang well that Larry Holmes was going to beat Jerry Cooney up, was going to beat him down. They knew that. You know, they're smart to boxing. They knew what's up. But the common fan that's paying the dollar, the white American fan that may be disinterested in boxing because there's nobody that's, you know, at the top that looks like him or looks like her, is doing good, they brought them back in. This is the same thing that's going on now, and this is what they did in The Great White Hype. James the Grim Reaper Roper, Damon Wayans' character, he was running through the heavyweight division, but he wasn't getting the respect he deserved. He didn't have that big event. So Samuel L. Jackson's character, who was his promoter, like the Don King type of, you know, shady promoter, he thought of an idea. He said, you know what? I'm going to make you $30 million. Watch. Thought of an idea. He said, we're going to get a white guy versus a black guy, and we're going to play on that race stuff, and we're going to make the biggest fight of all time. It doesn't even matter if the white guy's any good. So they're going through these fights and everything. They're trying to figure out how, who to pick, who to get, you know. And they actually mentioned Cooney or Larry Holmes versus Jerry Cooney in the movie. So they find a guy who fought James the Grim Reaper Roper in the amateurs that, ironically enough, they named him Irish Terry Conklin. Irish Conor McGregor. Even though Conor McGregor is really Irish, in the movie, Terry Conklin, he said, I'm not Irish. But they said in the movie, this is crazy, man. They said in the movie, one of the characters was like, oh yeah, that just means you're white. You know. And Conklin wasn't ranked, you know, never fought a pro fight. And in the movie, people actually believed that he was going to be able to beat the heavyweight champion of the world. The baddest man on the planet at the time. They bought into it. Do you know James the Grim Reaper Roper didn't even train in the movie? They made it real funny. You know, he didn't train. He came in fat, overweight. He knocked out Terry Conklin in the first round. And everybody's little heart was broken. They had got played. They got bamboozled. And that's why I made this video. I'm just saying to y'all, I'm not saying that the fight is fixed. You know, I'm not saying that either of these guys is going to take a dive. But what I'm saying is there's a way to fix a fight without fixing the fight. There's a way to fix a fight without telling one guy you're going to take a dive or paying off the judges. They did it in The Great White Hype. They did it with Holmes versus Cooney. Yeah, of course, you know, Cooney saw that as an opportunity to win. Do you think Cooney thought, man, I can't beat this dude? No. Jerry Cooney didn't think that. Excuse me. Jerry Cooney said, man, you know, this is a chance for me to win the heavyweight title, you know. And all athletes should think that. He should be confident. The same thing in the Great White Hype. They built up Terry Conklin, Irish Terry Conklin, and he believed that he was going to be able to beat the heavyweight champion of the world, even though he hadn't fought in like 10 years. Hadn't even fought on the professional level. So maybe Conor really does believe that he can beat Floyd. I don't know. But that's what you're seeing now, is how you fix a fight without outright fixing a fight. It's a boxing match with the, last time we saw him, the pound for pound #1 boxer in the world at the age of 38. Hands down the best boxer of our generation, whether you like him or not. Well, he's a boxer, not a fighter, whatever, man. He's the best boxer in the past 20 years, okay? Just get over it. Just get a man his props. And he's going to fight a guy who's a good fighter in his own right. But in MMA, it's a whole different set of rules in boxing. And I understand a lot of people aren't that familiar with the sport, and maybe that's why they think he has a chance, or maybe it's just the hype. I think it has more to do with the hype, because even when you explain the nuances to someone, they still believe that Conor has a chance. Look, the head movement, the feints, the footwork, the actual punching power, it's not the same in MMA as it is in boxing. Boxing is a whole different animal. Those guys are focusing on one set of limbs, their hands and their arms. You know, trying not to get hit in the head. You know, in MMA, you have a lot of different things you have to worry about. You got to worry about kicks, got to be worried about the striking, punches, got to be worried about being taken down. You got to make sure that you don't get caught up in some kind of submission hold. You know, you can't really be a master of one thing. You kind of have to, you know, be pretty good at everything. And you got to respect that. That's great. That's, you know, to have multiple disciplines. But you're basically taking away what would be Conor's advantages, and you're putting him in against the best fighter in the world, one of the greatest fighters of all time. That's how you fix a fight, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, it's fixed in that sense. But just like WrestleMania 25, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, probably my favorite match of all time, was fixed. Man, it still was awesome. I'll watch it to this day. One of the greatest matches I'd ever seen. And I'm still entertained by it. So you can still be entertained, but let's be real, y'all. All right? Let me know what you think about everything that's happened in this past week is concerning the fight, and how you honestly feel about the fight. Maybe you still think it's real, you know, even after all of that and what everybody else is telling you. I don't know. Hey, I can't tell you how to feel or how to think, but I'm just, you know, giving you some my thoughts on it. You know, so yeah, as always, you know, drop a comment in the comment section. Share, like, comment, and subscribe. It's Brohammer TV, man. We're doing big things in 2017 leading up to 2018. So, hey. Oh, 20-week Brotomorphosis. Anybody still want to join? Holler at me, man. I'm doing really good. 3 weeks straight, no cheat meals. So, and working out every day. But yeah, anyway, Brohammer TV, man, signing out.